Hey, welcome back to the Bound by Art podcast. I'm Missi Blue, tattoo artist, business owner, and your guide to navigating the chaos that is the tattoo industry. If you're an artist looking to grow your business, attract the right clients, and learn how to survive this career without losing your damn mind, then you are in the right place. Every week, I'll be bringing real talk, actionable tips, and hard-earned lessons from my own journey with a side of good vibes and a little bit of sarcasm. Whether you're new to the game, feeling stuck, or you just need a kick in the ass to get that spark back again, this is the show for you. Welcome to Bound by Art. Now let's get to work. Today we're tackling a topic that always pops up this time of year, setting goals. Now before you roll your eyes, hear me out. We've all been there, setting ambitious plans, feeling that initial rush of excitement, and then watching it fade as the weeks go by. But what if the problem isn't the goals themselves? What if the problem is you? Well, more specifically, how you're approaching these goals. In this episode, I'm breaking down the common pitfalls that keep us stuck in the same patterns year after year. We'll dig into why it's so hard to trust yourself after breaking promises, how to build habits that actually work, and the secret to creating a system that sets you up for success every single day. I'm also sharing some of my personal stories, lessons from my own struggle of trying to stay on that path towards my goals, and real-life examples of how small changes can lead to massive transformations. If you're ready to rethink how you set your goals and finally make some progress, you're in the right place. Can I just share something I've been working on real quick? It's called the Goal Getter Worksheet, and let me tell you, it's not just functional, it's easy on the eyes. I poured my heart into designing this tool to help you brainstorm, organize, and tackle your biggest goals this year. Whether you're trying to build better habits, hit career milestones, or just figure out what's next, this worksheet has everything you need to break down your goals into manageable steps and make real progress. It's simple, effective, and designed with artists in mind. The best part? It's totally free. Head over to boundbyart.com/goals to download your copy today. Here we go again. It's that annoying time of year. Every podcast you listen to, every motivational speaker, influencer, fitness guru, everyone, everywhere you turn is going to be talking about goals. It's the grand reset, new year, new me, blah, blah, blah. Everyone looks at the first as an opportunity, a clean slate. I guess there is something about day one that gives everyone hope for change, something different, a do-over. Do you know how many times in my life I've said, well, this year was shit, but next year is going to be different. It's like you've reached the end, the deadline's here, and you didn't do what you said you were going to do, but next time will be different. Does that sound familiar? I think it's something we can all relate to. We're disappointed in ourselves. We didn't do the thing we said we were going to do. We didn't commit to the things we promised ourselves we would commit to. And now here we are at the end, feeling the consequences of our bad decisions, our broken promises, and our inactions. So we beat ourselves up. We make a new declaration of resolutions and we feel a rush of hopefulness, determination, and drive. But then what happens? Fast forward a month or two, or let's be honest, some years, I don't even make it that far. 2 weeks in and I'm already fucking up. Why do we do this? What are we missing? Why is the system broken, flawed, and not working for us? Do you want to know what I think? Good, because I'm going to tell you. I think, number one, it's broken trust and beliefs and confidence. Have you ever had a friend that constantly makes plans with you and then bails last second, or they tell you they're going to do something and they don't? And maybe they always forget their wallet and will pay you back later, but then they don't. How do you feel about this person? Do you trust their word? Do you believe them when they say they're going to show up? Are you confident that you're going to see that money again? Probably not, right? I'm willing to bet every time they make plans with you, you immediately doubt them and assume they're not going. You might even make a backup plan because you know they're going to bail. And when they inevitably do bail on you, they prove you right, and you say to yourself, or if you're like me, say it to them, I knew it. I knew the moment you told me that you were full of shit and you weren't coming. Now imagine that this friend is actually you. How many times have you told yourself you were going to do something only to bail on your plans? How many times have you made a promise to yourself and you gave up and you quit and you changed your mind and just didn't follow through? Every time you do this, you lose a little more trust in yourself. You believe in yourself a little bit less. You're slowly losing confidence in your ability to follow through and do what you say you're going to do. How does it feel when your friend does that to you? Pretty shitty, right? How does it feel when you do it to yourself? I'm sure in that moment when you make the choice to not do the thing you said you were going to do, it probably feels okay. You're choosing the easier thing, you're letting yourself off the hook. You probably ran into some kind of conflict or friction that made it a little more difficult to make good on your promise, and you chose to not keep it. But later, when you're feeling the consequences and the results of your choices, like here at the end of the year, it feels pretty shitty, right? You're disappointed in yourself. You let yourself down. Now you can't even trust your own word. You don't believe in yourself. You lost confidence. How long does it take your flaky friend to earn your trust again? Is it even possible? What would it take for you to believe their word again? For me, it takes a lot. I would need them to prove to me over and over and over again that they mean what they say and that they follow through on their promises. It would require them to not bail on me again. And if they did, the chances of me trusting them again become smaller and smaller. The same is true for yourself. If you've broken that trust with yourself over and over again, it's really hard to come back from that. When you say you're going to do something and you only kind of believe it, why? Because number two, you're lying to yourself. Your reason for wanting this goal that you set has to be really strong. If you don't really, really want it, you're not even going to try out that hard. If you want to reach this goal more than anything, you're going to do everything in your power to get it done. Let me give you an example. One of my coworkers last year set some pretty huge, pretty important goals. She wanted to buy a new car. She'd been driving around this fucking terrible beater car for as long as I've known her, so I get it. Like, that was a great goal for her. She wanted to move into her own place and get out of her friend's house. She'd been living in her friend's attic for a while at this point, which is not at all ideal. She wanted to hit 10,000 followers on Instagram, which, in my opinion, is just a vanity number. It doesn't fucking mean anything, and it doesn't matter that much, but that's a rant for another day. It was important to her. It was an important milestone in her career, so I didn't give her shit about it. But she set these goals in January. By April, she hit all three of her goals. Guys, 3 months later, she had a car, she had her own place, and she had over 10,000 followers. Like, hit and exceeded her goals in just 3 months. She wanted these things more than anything. And every single day, she was doing something to actively work towards these goals. Once she got there, I had her come up with 3 new goals because, dude, it's April. We can't just be coasting through the rest of the year. I always try to encourage everyone at the shop to be working towards something big or small, personal, business, whatever. I don't care as long as you're doing something. So her new goals were a little bit different. She wanted to focus more on her fitness, specifically mobility and flexibility. And her first goal was that she wanted to be able to touch the floor. I'm dead serious. We wrote this down. It was silly to me, but whatever, not my life. I don't choose for them. They make their own goals, whatever. So touch the floor was goal number 1. Run 2 miles without stopping and save $10,000. Those all seem like solid goals, right? Well, she never reached them. She never hit those goals. In fact, she completely abandoned the ideas altogether within the first couple of months after coming up with them. Why do you think that is? Do you think she really cared about touching the floor? I knew that goal was bullshit when she said it, but who am I to say? Like I said, I don't choose the goals. I just encourage them to have goals at all. These goals meant absolutely nothing to her. She only kind of wanted these things because I know her. And if these goals were something that she was really living and breathing, they would have been checked off the list in no time at all. Okay, maybe saving $10,000 did mean something, but did she want it more than she wanted to buy all the things and spend all the money? No, because if she did, she would have saved the money. If your mindset is not aligned with the goals that you chose, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're full of shit. Number 3, your mindset is all wrong. How do you fix your mindset? That's a tough one. I wish there was just a magic formula where I could tell you to do A, B, and C and you'll have it. Unfortunately, not the case, and it's not that simple. It's also not that permanent. Changing your mindset is a constant work in progress. You have to be checking in with yourself and checking back in with yourself over and over again. It's not something that you just achieve one day and that's it, you're in the clear. The work is done. I fucking wish that's how it worked, but it's not. Changing your mindset is all about changing your perspective, which in turn begins to strengthen your willpower. If you're focusing on the end result, which let's be honest, seems so far away and so impossible and overwhelming, you're always going to be thinking that it's impossible and far away and too overwhelming. If you're focusing on the day-to-day progress and what you can do right now in this moment, to get closer to that point, you're going to be making actual moves that add up over the course of the entire year. State your goals and then fucking forget them. Because we all know that we're not going to start saving today and magically have $10,000 by tomorrow. So why the fuck do we have that mindset with every other thing that we're working towards? It's just not based in reality. Here's the reality. Find a way to save $28 a day and you'll hit that goal. Can you find $28 today? I'm sure you can. Tomorrow? Probably. Focus on that. That's where your mindset needs to be, in the present. Fuck that number at the end of the year. What are you doing right now? And what is the goal for today? Which brings me to my next point. Number 4, you're wording it all wrong. Stop setting goals and start setting intentions. I don't mean like set your intentions and release them out to the world or whatever type of shit. I mean, say what you mean and mean what you say. Just because you say you want something doesn't mean you're going to get it. It doesn't mean that you're going to ever work towards it or ever reach it. Like a little kid in the grocery store crying about how he wants some candy. Okay, kid, I'm sure you do want that. But does that mean you're getting it? My parents have this saying for this: want in one hand, shit in the other, and let me know which one fills up first. Which, God, I fucking hated when they said that. Also, what the fuck does that even mean? Have you ever heard this stupid saying? I spent my entire childhood wondering why my parents kept telling me to shit in my hand. Who says that? I don't even know if this is actually a saying or if it's just something that my parents say, so let me know if you've heard this before. But I do get it now, though, now that I'm like a grown-up. I mean, there's probably other ways to say this, but they're basically letting me know that wanting something doesn't make it so. Wishes and hopes and wants don't add up to much without the effort, the action, and something tangible. Everyone wants something. Everyone wants to win. What separates the winners from the losers, the haves and the have-nots? The ones that believe it, act it, train for it, and become it are the ones that get what they want. So what do you need to do differently? Even saying it out loud gives a whole different vibe. When someone asks you what your goals are, I'm sure you've used this phrase to answer them. I want to buy a car, or whatever your goal is. But what if you change that sentence to, I intend to buy a car? Doesn't that feel so much more powerful? What are you going to do? Not what do you want? Ask yourself, who do I need to be for this to be true? What needs to change in my life? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? And who do I need help from? What routines do I need to have in place? What schedule do I need to have? How will I create this discipline? Which is point number 5. You don't have discipline. What even is discipline? The Webster Dictionary defines it as the self-control that is gained by requiring the rules or orders be obeyed and the ability to keep working at something that is difficult. I used to think discipline was something you were just born with. You either had it or you didn't. As a former subscriber to chronic excuses and utter chaos, I can tell you that it is absolutely a thing that anyone can have and be. It says it right there in the definition. The self-control that is gained by. That implies you don't have it to start. You have to create it. So how do we create discipline in our lives? You earn it. You have to earn it, and you keep earning it. It's the only way to acquire discipline. By doing the thing no matter what, even if it's hard. Even when you're tired, you're in a bad mood, you're having a bad day, nothing is going right. You want to do other things. It's small, consistent actions done day after day after day. By doing the thing that you said you were going to do and following through consistently, you're creating discipline. The biggest lesson that I learned in discipline was from when I did 75 hard. Some of you might have known me then and remember seeing my posts. Guys, it took me 276 days to do 75 days straight of 75 hard. If you haven't heard of this program before, it is 75 days of these same like critical tasks, they call it. So you're doing 2 45-minute workouts a day. One of them has to be outdoors. Does not matter what's happening out there, rain, snow, whatever, has to be outside. Read 10 pages, follow a diet, no alcohol or cheat meals. Oh, and you have to take a progress picture every day. I mean, the 2 45-minute workouts alone were a lot and hard to do, but it took me 276 days to do this because I kept fucking failing. But by the end of this, I had learned such a valuable lesson about discipline. It's about doing the hard thing when you don't want to. And every time I did that, I got mentally stronger. The hard days were something I started to look forward to, which is what I was told that would happen during this program. And I'm like, there's no fucking way that I'm going to wake up and not feel like going to the gym and be like, yes, I get to go to the gym today because I don't fucking want to. That doesn't make any sense, right? But I swear to you that when those days did show up, I was like, fuck yes, I'm going because I don't want to. And it's like so backwards, but you learn that those are the moments that you're really growing and you're really going places with this whole thing that you're trying to do. The better half of a year it took me to get through this program, and I felt great in all aspects of my life because I learned this discipline. I continued on after that. I did like the next phase and I kept working out and stuff. But somewhere along the way, I fell off and I stopped. I stopped being as disciplined and I kept breaking my promises to myself and I kept failing over and over and over again, to the point now where I'm in this like rebuilding stage. I am currently in the fucking thick of it, trying to rebuild my trust with myself and my discipline and get back to that point, because it's not one of those things that you can just do for a while and then stop and expect to be able to pick back up where you left off. If you don't follow through and you don't keep your word and your promise to yourself, you lose that trust with yourself again. And when you're ready to start again, guess what? You have to build that trust before you can even think about creating any kind of discipline. You have to be building and working towards these habits every single day. Number 6, you haven't created a routine. I'm a firm believer that if you don't create routines, you will never get to where you're wanting to go. Everyone thinks you need the motivation before you can do the thing. I've had so many people ask me, how are you so motivated all the time? I'm fucking not at all. Like, so far from motivated, it's not even funny. The truth is, it's completely backwards. The action drives the motivation. No one just wakes up in the morning motivated to go run 5 miles. I don't care what anyone says. People like me who get up at 4 a.m. to go to the gym may outwardly seem like they are so motivated, and everyone tells me that they wish they had my motivation. Guys, I'm not motivated. I hate it. I hate waking up that early. I hate going to the gym. I'm not excited. What I am is a fucking robot. Well, maybe not at the moment. Like I said, I'm in my rebuilding era, but I'm now working my ass off to get back to my former robot status, which takes so much time and effort, but I know through trial and error and experience that it does actually work, and it will actually pay off if I just keep pushing through this. When I say I'm a robot, or was a robot, I mean, I was completely on autopilot. I spent so many mornings forcing myself to get up out of bed at 4 a.m., grab my keys, go to the gym, that it became a habit, something that I did without even thinking. I'd get to the gym before I was even awake enough to object to it. Once I'm there, I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I might as well work out. I'm here. That's the level that you want to be on for whatever routine your goal is going to require. Do it so many times, so consistently, that you don't even have to think about it. Your body just does it. It's a habit. And once you create a habit, you can start to add more habits to your routine, which they call this habit stacking. If you haven't read it yet, I highly, highly recommend the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book will change your entire life, as it has for so many people that I know. I've even read this book multiple times whenever I've felt lost or hopeless or needed a kick in the ass, because it's like an exact blueprint for how to get where you want to be. One of my favorite things that he talks about in the book is how success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out. The idea that focusing on creating a habit, no matter how small it may seem individually, it'll ultimately bring you closer to your goal. The more habits you stack together, the better system you create. One of my all-time favorite quotes from the book is, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." This is a quote that just sticks with me always. I think about it so often. Whenever I'm working up a new plan, it's in the back of my mind. Like, this is my goal, but the system is what's going to get me there. The system is what's more important than the goal. Number 7, you're not holding yourself accountable. I think one of the biggest contributors to my own personal success and the success of those around me is the way we practice accountability. Accountability is accepting responsibility for your actions, but it's also checking in with yourself and with others, basically to make sure you did what you said you were going to do. whether you have an accountability buddy or this is something that you do on your own. If you're not holding yourself accountable and making these frequent check-ins, you may be missing the key component that's keeping you from reaching your goals. I have a few different ways of holding myself accountable. At my shop, we hold weekly meetings. Every week we talk about what we're working on this upcoming week. We say what we intend to do and when and how, if that makes sense. And then we check back in the following week. Did we do that? If not, why? Do we need to reassess? Do you need help? Do we just need more time? And do we want to roll it over to next week? The thing is, if I'm not asking myself these questions, I might lose interest, forget, or just avoid and ignore. Who's going to notice or care anyway besides me? It's really easy to just walk away from whatever idea that I said I was going to do last week when no one else knew it or cared about it in the first place. But when you have 5 other people looking at you, wanting to know why you failed or lied or forgot or didn't follow through, it feels different. A lot different. For me, I always have this deep-seated need for collecting gold stars. I don't know, maybe my parents didn't tell me enough that I was doing a good job. Whatever the reason, I need my gold stars. And when I can't have them, it feels bad. So I do whatever I have to get them. Some other ways that I hold myself accountable. I look to my friends for help. You might see my gym accountability posts every day on my Instagram stories. I post my bathroom gym selfie and I tag my friends who said they were going to go to the gym too. And if I don't go, guess who's on my ass wanting to know why? These bitches are tough and they're not tolerating my bullshit excuses, which is exactly what I need. Have you ever had someone tell you, it's okay, you deserve a rest. It's okay to take a break. You go every day. One day isn't going to kill you. Treat yourself. I'm sorry, but that is a bad fucking friend. They know what you want. They know what you're working towards. They know that you have these goals in mind and they're actively trying to sabotage you, in my opinion. They're allowing you to fail, to make excuses, and to give up. A real friend is going to say the things that you need to hear to remind you of why you're doing this in the first place, tell you to suck it up and get out there and make that shit happen. Fuck those people that will just let you fall flat on your face. They do not have your best interests in mind and they want to be let off the hook of having to do hard things themselves. When I was getting ready to open my shop, I went out to Vegas for a roller derby convention. It is a 5-day long convention where I would basically do flash tattoos from open to close from like 6 a.m., 7 a.m. until like 11 p.m., 5 days in a row. It was a fucking madness. But I had a goal. I had a dream. I wanted to open my shop and I wanted to pay for it with cash. I wanted to make as much money as I could and save as much money as I could so that I didn't have to put anything on credit. And I went out there and worked my ass off. And I remember the last day, Sunday, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to just call it a day. It was like 2:00 in the afternoon. And my friend Emily, thank God for her. I love her so much. She's in the booth next to me. She has like a roller derby clothing company. She said, bitch, get your ass back in there and get back to work. You have a fucking dream and you're not quitting now. You're not quitting today. Get back in there. And I was like, fuck, she's right. You know, like that's what I wanted to hear. Like if she would have been like, yeah, man, you've been working so hard all week. Like you're fine. Like you made enough money, like a break. Guess what? I wouldn't have had enough money to open my shop because the rest of that day from, 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. was probably the busiest fucking day that I had that entire week. And I made a shit ton of money. And people are like on their way out of the convention. So whatever they have left over, they're blowing their money before they go home. Or they're, giving me an extra tip. They see that I'm fucking dying out here. I made so much more money just from her telling me to get my ass back in here. That's a real friend. A real friend isn't going to tell you to take a break. They're going to tell you, you said you wanted this. You said you wanted to work for this. I'm not going to let you quit. Again, just my opinion. Take it or leave it. But they don't have your best interests in mind. They want to be let off the hook of having to do the hard things themselves. Speaking of being let off the hook, don't fucking avoid or dodge your accountability buddy. People tend to dip out at the times that they need the accountability check-in more than ever. It's easy to check in when things are going great. It's when they're not going great that we want to run away. And that's not helping you, and that's not what you said you wanted to do. And what is the point of having an accountability buddy or an accountability check-in if you're not doing it when it's needed most? So don't dodge. Quit running away. Number 8, you haven't changed. Remember when I asked, who do you need to be in order to reach this goal? I want to get into that a little deeper. You've built your trust, you got honest with yourself, you changed your mindset, you set your intention, created discipline, you built a system and routine, you took responsibility, and now it's time to set your identity. What does that mean? It means figure out how you need to act. What would a person that's accomplished this goal do? How would they act? What would their daily routine look like? How would they spend their time? Probably even more importantly, what do they not spend their time doing? If you're anything like me, writing things down helps you brainstorm and plan better. There's something about dumping all of my thoughts on paper that just helps me make them make more sense. So maybe take some time to sit down and write out all of your thoughts on who you need to be to reach this goal. This identity is actually your entire plan. Once you have this part figured out, it's easy. You just have to act accordingly. It's kind of like that saying, dress for the job you want, except this way makes way more sense and is actually effective. Studies suggest that every single day, you could possibly be making over 30,000 decisions a day. Some are seemingly small, insignificant decisions, some are really big ones, and then in between the two extremes are choices that decide the trajectory of your entire day. By now, you have your plan, you have your routine that you know you should be doing and you want to be doing, but you have choices, endless choices. How are you going to decide? If you're trying to stick to your plan and your routine, I'll tell you how. You're going to stop and ask yourself with every decision that could possibly affect your plan, is this how a person who does or has this would act? If it doesn't align, you have your answer. I know that's oversimplified, but I can almost guarantee you if you have a history of setting your goals for the new year and never reaching them, this is not something that you're currently doing. For example, 14 years ago, I quit smoking. Every day for weeks, I wanted a cigarette so badly. But every time I got that urge to buy one, I would stop and ask myself, do I want to be a smoker or a non-smoker? It's all or nothing. I reached this realization after stumbling onto this website. God, I wish I could remember what it was. I even tried searching for it so I could shout it out in this episode, but was not able to find anything. But I swear to God it existed. I definitely read this and not making this up, but this website changed everything for me. My perspective completely shifted after reading this stuff. It explained why the method of weaning yourself off of smoking does not work. It's just prolonging the torture. The only way to quit is cold turkey. The number of times I tried to quit by gradually cutting back and then failed is absolute fucking insanity. I would hit that 24-hour mark and tell myself, I'm just going to smoke one and then tomorrow I won't smoke any. This website explains why that's flawed. It explained that your body remembers your addiction. So if you smoke a pack a day, your body will always remember that you're a pack a day smoker. Even if you quit for 10, 20 years, if you light up one cigarette, it's over. That's why whenever I would hit that 24-hour mark and I smoked again, it would just completely sabotage all of my efforts. I was essentially just going back to the beginning. It wasn't helping anything at all. It was actually just making it worse. If I could just get through the 3 days, which I had heard so many times before, I would have been past that immediate chemical addiction. And then it would just be the mental battle. But I never made it that far before because I told myself I just needed this Band-Aid to get me through. As soon as I learned this, I understood the assignment. I was able to go into it that one last time, just prepared for a fucking battle. And guess what? I fucking won. But in order for me to get past that stage of agony and torture, I had to identify as someone who does not smoke. I had to almost demonize the version of me that was a smoker. I was at bars all the time. My boyfriend at the time was in a band that played several times a week. And back then, people smoked in the bars still. Disgusting. And I was even drinking still then, which is fucking reckless as hell. But I would be in the bar drinking and not smoking because I would audibly say cigarettes were gross and that I hated them and that I didn't smoke anymore and I'm not a dirty, disgusting smoker. I had to say it out loud over and over again, not to convince anyone else, but I had to convince me. I had to say things that a non-smoker would say. I had to act the way a non-smoker would act. And that person would be grossed out by smokers and cigarettes. And guys, it worked. It fucking worked. 22. 22 times over 16 years. That's how many times I tried to quit smoking and failed. It took me 23 times to get it right. I'm so glad I didn't give up. What was different about the 23rd time? It changed my mindset. It changed who I was, who I saw myself as, and how I behaved. And I finally saw my way free of fucking nicotine for good. All of these small decisions, minor changes in actions, attitudes, how you speak, what you say, and with which words you say it adds up. If you're focused on the day-to-day routines and habits of a person that has the things that you want, does the things you want to do, you will turn around one day and realize you are that person. You're no longer acting the part. The results work themselves out, and the rest is history. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode. I hope you're feeling inspired and ready to make some moves today. Remember, it's all about showing up, putting in the work, and staying true to yourself. If you got something out of today's episode, share it with a friend who might need to hear it, and make sure to subscribe so we can keep this momentum going. Get updates on all of our latest episodes, events, and more by following us on social media at Bound by Art Project and by heading over to the website boundbyart.com. Thanks for hanging out and putting up with my shit. I'll see you next time. Now shut up, quit making excuses, and go get better.